Welcome to Stonewatch. This is my open spoiler discussion for Star Wars The Bad Batch. And if you haven't already, please smash that subscribe button and click on that bell so you get notified for future videos. And be sure to give this video a thumbs up. And yes, after watching episode 11, Devil's Deal for The Bad Batch on Disney Plus, I gotta say this episode was pretty damn awesome. Now we got a little different perspective this week. This week we only actually get to see The Bad Batch for a little bit, but I'll get to more of that in a minute. Now the really cool thing about this episode this week is we get to see Hera and Cham Samdula again. Now we have not seen these two characters since Star Wars Rebels. Now obviously, this is earlier on in the storyline, so each character is younger. This is right after the Clone Wars. So Hera's like she's pretty young. I don't know exactly how old she is because I don't know exactly how fast a Twi'lek ages. You know, we learned that from the Mandalorian, like the species that Yoda is, it takes like a long time because he's roughly about 5 years old and he's 50. Right, so I'm not sure the exact how fast the Twi'lek ages, to be quite honest with you, but she looks roughly about Omega's age. And another really cool thing this week, Vanessa Marshall returns to do the voice for Hera. And I gotta say, sorry Freddie, but I think Vanessa did a better job doing a younger voice than you did. Sorry, man. Let me know what you think about that in the comments down below. So obviously, this episode feeds right into next week's episode 12, Rescue on Ryloth, because at the end of this episode, Hera is on the run from the Empire, and the Bad Batch are going to have to come in and save the day. I mean, it's obviously what they're setting up in this episode, right? Another thing that I thought was kind of interesting, Rampart is also on Ryloth with Crosshair, mind you. Now, we get to learn that not only getting blasted in the face by a Ventilator class Star Destroyer's main engine, not only is that survivable, but there's obviously no surgery or anything else really needed, but most likely they just dunked his butt in like a tank of Banta, right? I mean, because when we do see him in this episode with his helmet off, there was like some kind of like scars or something going on back here on his head. I couldn't really make it out exactly what it was, so obviously was injured. I mean, we don't know how much time has passed since then. And again, I'm pretty sure that they put him in a Banta tank as soon as back to base. I mean, I'm almost positive that's what happened. Now, Rampart and the Empire are on Ryloth to open up a Dunium mining facility. Now, if you don't know, Dunium, and I'm probably butchering that word, is a heavy metal that's mainly used for the construction of starships. Also used for construction of the Death Star. So, and we know at this point that the Empire is just like gobbling up this stuff as much as they possibly can because it takes a lot to put the Death Star together. But seeing how that Rampart is involved with this mining facility, I have to say that most likely this is more for his War Mantle project. You know, let me know in the comments down below if you agree or disagree, if that's mainly what he's there for. I mean, I'm pretty sure that some of it's going to go towards the Death Star. I mean, maybe, because like they did say at some point that there was going to be, like this was like only one facility, but they were going to open up another site too. So obviously there's going to be more as this goes along, because I think the Empire does keep control of Ryloth, at least until Star Wars Rebels. We're also seeing in this episode that the Empire treats ally planets no differently than they treat enemy planets, because Ryloth was an ally during the Clone Wars, and they're like doing the same thing what they did with Raxus last week, which was the capital of the Separatists, right? They're just moving all their troops in, taking right over. No matter what you say, this is what we're going to do. Now, they're telling the people on Ryloth that they need to turn over their weapons. They don't have to fight no more, which they've been fighting for so long, especially during the Clone Wars and even before that, so they don't really, not that they don't know anything else, but they want to be able to at least take care of themselves, because that was supposed to be the deal. They would be free and the clones would leave, but that's not what's happening. So they're not happy about that. Now, they do turn over some of their weapons, but Syndulla's right-hand man, Gabi Gilly, I think that's how they say his name. Now, he tells Hera's mom that he already talked to a contact about getting more weapons. Now, we find out that contact was Sid, because she sends the Bad Batch to drop off some laser rifles and thermal detonators. So, which this is the only time that we see them, which I thought that was kind of interesting that, you know, it's their show, but they were only in it for like maybe like a minute or two, but then they're gone. Now, obviously they're going to come back because at the end of this episode, Hera is on the run. So somebody's got to come in and save the day, right? I don't know, man. Let me just think about that in the comments down below. So as like the Bad Batch and Gabi are dealing over the weapons, Hera is like admiring their ship. She walks over and she starts talking to Omega. She asks her what kind of ship it is, and Omega tells her, and she's like, hey, can I take a look around? And then after Omega gets the okay from Hunter, she takes her on a tour of the ship, and you can see that the love for flying in Hera's eyes, and you see that through this whole entire episode, actually. So it's like, not only that, you know, we see like her love for flying is like all the way back when she was younger, and it carries her right on to when we see her in Rebels, right? So it's kind of cool to actually see that was always been there, and it was kind of funny to see the exchange between her and Omega, because Omega sets up, she's explaining all the stuff on the ship, and when Hera asks her whether or not if she actually knows how to fly, she says no, that tech won't allow her to actually learn how to fly until she learns how, like, all the specs of the ship by heart, which I think it was kind of funny. I mean, it was a pretty cool exchange between the two. It seemed like a little bit of a bond going on there, just a little bit. Maybe I'm just reading into something, but that was kind of cool. Now, after the weapons deal between the Bad Batch and Gabi is over with, everybody goes their separate ways. Now, I had to point out here, there was a third Twi'lek in the party with Hera and Gabi to get these weapons from the Bad Batch. And I looked, there's no listing of like the actress who's playing the part, or the character for that matter. I mean, she was like there, right? I mean, she was, why don't we know her name? I don't know. Let me know what you think about that in the comments down below. I thought that was just kind of weird. But anyway, on their way back to Ryloth, they're jumped by Crosshair and the Empire, which you saw that from a mile away. After Hera got busted from like spying on the Empire at the refinery, and she went on this weapons run, you knew she was going to get busted again. You just knew it. I mean, it was just totally setting us up, which is okay because it was actually pretty cool. They all get captured by the Empire, and this makes Syndulla actually, now he's got to jump into action and get his daughter back, right? Him and his men actually do stop the convoy on the way back to the prison or wherever they were taking Hera and Gabi and then other Twi'lek chick. He actually gets them back. He wants to kill like the senator Twi'lek dude, but his wife talks him out of it. And as he starts to walk away, Crosshair gets a headshot on this guy. Now, Rampart then arrests Syndulla for the attempt assassination of the senator. But that headshot, that looked like that was a dead shot. Right? Unless he's got a really thick head. Now, we did find out that, apparently there's speculation that Cad Bane was shot in the head too, and he seemed to survive because he had a metal plate over his head. So maybe they think that's what's going to happen with this guy. I mean, maybe he survived. I mean, maybe. I mean, Darth Maul was chopped in half, and he managed to stay alive, right? So I guess anything can happen. So, I don't know, man. Hera's on the run. Syndulla and his wife are arrested by the Empire. It's time for the Bad Batch to come in and start kicking some butt. You know what I mean? So I don't know, did you watch the episode 11, Devil's Deal for the Bad Batch on Disney Plus? Let me know what you think in the comments down below. Did you like it? Where do you think this breaks up with all the other episodes we've got so far? And how cool was it to see Hera and Champ Syndulla again, right? I mean, that was pretty badass, right? And let's not forget about Chopper. Chopper was in this episode, right? I mean, other than R2-D2, I have to say that Chopper is one of my favorite droids. I mean, he's just another droid with an attitude, but I think his attitude's a little bit more salty than R2-D2's. At least that's the way he sounds. And I think it's kind of funny when they list him in the characters, they're saying he's playing himself, so nobody can be Chopper other than Chopper. I think that's pretty damn cool. I think it was rumored it was actually Dave Filoni that did his voice, but I don't know if that's true. So I don't know what they're going to do next week. I can't wait to see how they wrap up this story arc. It seems like they're only like doing like episodes, like 2 or 3 episode story arcs in this show. Now, still, Wikipedia is listing only 14 episodes and IMDb is listing 16. So I don't know exactly how many more episodes we got left to go, but man, this thing is starting to really heat up. So let me know what you think in the comments down below.